Alright, YouTube, man, we back again, man. It's your boy Zach. We back again, man. And we got y'all favorite Kowacie Reeves in the building again, man. We're doing another interview for y'all. So we got a couple questions to ask y'all, a couple things to go over that's going on in the world and in the community. So I'm gonna let Lil Wasty talk to y'all for a little minute. Introduce yourself to you.
Oh yeah, man. Kowacie Reeves, Junior, same deal as last time. Just here to talk and have an intellectual dialogue about problems and issues, and then discuss solutions for them. And that's about it.
Okay. So let's go and take a deep dive in this question. Let's get into the state of the black womanhood. Tell me how you feel, how the world had changed for black women, and you know how it changed from back then, back in the 80s and 90s and 70s. Or how black women can do what black men can do, or women can do what men can do what women do. So, tell me how you feel on that type of situation.
I think as a people, I must start with it. All starts with the destruction of the black family. So, we get crack in the 80s, and we get mass drug dealers and junkies and people like that. So we get mass incarceration in a heightened state in that era. And also, that is a time where fathers started being absent in homes. And that is a reflection of what we see today in a lot of our relations. So I'm not criticized. I would never criticize our sisters or brothers, but we have to realize and become conscious of what of the state that we're in, and how we got there, and how we can get out. Because it's not an easy way to get out, but the answer is very simple. It's just to slowly study and restore and heal ourselves of the oppression that we have gone through for such a long time. So I think that's why now you see objectification of our women is what sells in media, and men display acts of violence because that comes from a deeper. They are not even conscious, but it comes conscious of the fact, but it comes from a deeper system of them being oppressed, and that's a way that they have internalized that and been able to express that system, and that system knows that that's the way that that's the path that they were going on. That's why they created it, perpetuated it, and they continue to maintain the system.
Okay. And do you feel like saying that? Do you feel like that's how the relationship goes in today's world? Like, oh, women just think, oh, every time they go to man, they gotta use it for money, or you gotta wear these type of clothes, and these relationships not last over a year. Marriages, they divorcing. So you feel like what you said is that the reason relationship these things are not working in our generation?
Yeah, because back in the day with grandma them and great granddad, great grandma them, and even when we first got here, before we were even humanized, we still was working for free, and we still with property. You had a sense of family and a sense of respect and honor, and that was a priority to us. Now we have been given false senses of freedom and free will, and those senses are all materialistic, and we have completely, or we almost have completely abandoned family. And so now you have people prioritizing money, careers, lifestyle over having a family. So to each his own, but there is a direct correlation between mass poverty, violence, and self-hatred that we display each and every day throughout the majority of our communities as a people. Is a direct relation with that and the destruction of black families. So whether you want to confess to it or not, that is not the problem, because it has been proven already. This is something that I'm not just saying. If you go observe any ghetto, any hood community right now, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. If you go look statistically, even the people that are against us and want to oppress us even more, even admit to this. So that's where I'm at with it. We have to look at the destruction of the black family.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Now let's take a trip into our generation of women. and me and you both, we both young, we're around the same age. You got a couple more years on top of me though, but let's take a look at today's women, and as far as the youth dating, I feel like the music, the female artists, women as a whole had since the time had changed from back then. It took control over women these days. It like the music brainwashing them. They feel like, oh, they gotta have these type of clothes, or the nigga gotta pay for everything. It gotta be 100% for the men and 0% for the woman. The man gotta provide everything and things in that nature. How you feel about that? Cause I know that's been going around for a long as on Instagram and Facebook that a man have to take care of a woman. It's always probably 100 0, never 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Cause I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that lately. So give me your thoughts on that.
Well, my thoughts on that is we always have to come back because I would never criticize women without analyzing what the reason that they are in that state. And I think the reason the women are in the state they're in because men are in the state they're in, and both of us are in the state we're in. But now you have kind of this hostile environment where we are internalizing our oppression as a single man and as a single woman, and then flipping that on the opposite gender and not realizing that the man above us or the system above us is playing tricks on both of us and perpetuating and maintaining their systemic oppression through us hating each other. So we have to realize the trick the system uses. The common trope of divide and conquer. So what I would say, comment on that, for traditional women, so traditional women that want husband, children, stuff like that, family, who want a family and the things that come with family, I strongly believe that they are always going to go in the direction of the masses. If you look at this on a large scale, not an individual and outlier basis, if you look at the masses of us as a people, women that are still straight and want a man and want a family type deal, you have to look at the men. You have to look at the men and what the men are popularizing. So I think that the reason we see artificial things about their bodies and objectification of them is definitely music, and the culture has a place in that. And when you constantly listen to that and display that, and that's the images you see every day, the majority, when you look at it on a large scale, is going to imitate that, and that's how a culture is going to be created. So I would never single out just the women in general. I would say that we have to look at the men, the women, and we have to look at the system that's above them that maintains the environment that system also created.
So you think, okay, say for example, I get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like, since I'm the man in the house, I gotta take care of all the bills and the female just don't, cook and everything like that? Or since I'm married and I'm the man in the house, I gotta handle everything, and the female, just make sure the house is clean and everything?
Yeah, I think it's in a traditional relationship.
Cause how I was raised, back then, how our parents raised us. If you're the man in the house, you're gonna cover everything. Your wife to make sure the house clean, keep food on the table. Make sure the kid fed. If you need anything, go to your wife about it. As long as handle everything as a man. Keep the house up to date. Keep the bills paid. Stuff like that. But time has changed from then and now. A woman can look at a man and say, okay, you to provide, you supposed to take care of everything. I'm just here to support you and everything that nature. How you?
Well, I would say that you have to look at what I just was talking about. We are in a heightened state of attack on masculinity, and so the men of yesterday are becoming scarce and a rarity in our society, and that structure may not be looking as if it is working anymore because those type of principles and values are not a priority, and it's I would say, kind of war against those values to then continue to destroy the black family. So we cannot have mom, dad, children living in a healthy environment, because that type of system and structure has the potential to be passed down. So your daughter can have that same type of healthy and good and working structure, and your son can have the same thing. So I think with the whole uh bill thing and the man take care of the house thing, I think it is more of what fits your relationship, but also realizing your responsibilities inside of your masculinity. We need I am a believer of each masculine man has to be matched with the femininity that he needs to be a man. But also being a man, you have to start with that. You don't think you go how you think you're going to attract a woman when you don't even uh acquire the attributes and the skill set that a man's supposed to have fundamentally and morally. You will not get a woman that you desire. You will get a woman that has been, kind of duped and kind of tricked, and you will attract a lot of women that are getting uh, influenced by bad societal norms that we are starting to create.
Okay. I feel you. Okay, let's take a different swing. And okay, we'll talk about one of the projects we did today. When we did a big trash picker today, we saw a bunch of, homeless people outside. And, you know, certain people, they probably do certain things that throw their life 50 feet back. So they probably made a mistake and did drugs, did alcohol, and, it kind of put them in a bad predicament. Tell me how that separates us from them, and why do outside people look at them different from what they is from a human perspective?
I would say most things, if not all, I would argue, are systemic. So there's a structure in each system, in each business, in each social interaction. There's a structure to why people dehumanize someone that does not have home or the basic needs of a human. But you also have to look, how is it possible that a human cannot have the basic needs of a human? Food, water, shelter. How they could not have that when we have people that have millions and billions of dollars. So that may go back to the system that we're living in of capitalism, which capitalism says fundamentally we have to exploit. We have to exploit the labor. We have to exploit and work the work for free or little to no money, so I can become rich. A small majority can become rich, and a small minority can become rich, and a big majority can stay oppressed. And so every time I see a homeless person, that is just a reflection of the evils of capitalism. You have no Amazon, no multi-million dollar monopolies without exploitation in this system. And any other system that gets pushed or people start to think about, they instantly try to make it seem evil, because obviously if I'm a millionaire running a multi-million dollar monopoly and I can pay workers that may make $800 a week, right? But I made $800 every 2 seconds. There's no way, if one person is starting to help feed the brain and continue consciousness to where the people realize, like, hold on, I made $800 for working here in 2 weeks, and he just made that in 2 seconds each day. The people will realize that is not equal. And one thing that always is a threat to people that are in power and have been benefit of this structure is numbers, the mass numbers of people overthrowing their philosophies. Because one thing that is a fact is that one person cannot hold back the masses of people if they consciously or unconsciously do something. That's why when we riot, no one person can do anything. If people were to riot right now, the president could not come here by himself and make people stop rioting. It takes the masses of people to organize themselves to become free. And I think that is the gist of homelessness. If we were organized, there would maybe be poverty and homelessness, but we would be progressing towards an elimination of that. Because we have to realize that the people who are in charge do not want an elimination of that because they benefit off of that. Yeah.
So you feel like that's a government thing, or they just like that's a us thing?
I feel like it's both, but like I said, we have to fundamentally look at who created this system, who perpetuates this system, and who maintains this system, and that is inevitably government. That is inevitably politicians and legislation and billionaire people, billionaires and billionaire guys who own monopolies, and they literally can control whole factions of society with just their money. That's how politicians can be bought out. That's the reason certain agendas are pushed.
So you feel like it evolves around the money. You feel like everything, all that type of stuff like that, it evolves around the funds, and if you don't have the type of funds they have, it could be like, you know, or you feel like it evolves around the funds and money.
Yes, obviously, uh, that's one of the main things that this power structure respect money, because obviously we have people that benefit in large numbers, so they get a lot of capital off of the backside of the free labor. So obviously they were going to respect anything that messes with their money. So that's why true boycotts work and strikes work, because the more days added on to a strike, the more days added on to a boycott, the more money that company or that entity who is over that company and over that business loses. And that's what they respect, because when you mess with folks' money, that's how that's their livelihood in this society. And that's why they do not want us to change the system of capitalism, because there are other ways that say money does not equal your livelihood in other systems. That historically we have seen some of those thrive without the exploitation of capitalism.
I know, man, you had a conversation. It was a while ago when we did our first project. We were riding back in the car, and you gave me an example of these famous people that are donating back to the youth, paying for their college tuition and sending them off to school, but that's not what their talent is. Some of their talent is digital filming, some of their talent is dealing with numbers, and I just feel like throwing them in school, like you said, probably not the best thing for them besides throwing them somewhere that they can benefit from. So tell them about how you explained to me, and from a wealthy perspective, bringing our black community, send them off to school, and what I'm saying, using their skills, but send them where they need, besides sending them where they need to be.
But we have to first look at the perspective of a lot of individuals who have wealth, especially in our community. First off, you have to navigate that, because for you to get that much wealth and influence, you probably have some type of cordial, if not really good relationship with a power structure that pushes you, right? So what I'm essentially saying is you may become limited in that, because whoever finances you essentially runs you. Whoever finances you essentially runs you. And so that's why I don't fault celebrities, because I understand that celebrities and people with money, because I understand that that may not be a priority to them. They might not have the same will that I have. Like for me, like I said, told you before, when I'm driving to practice, or when I'm driving to an event or to get something to eat, and I see a woman on the concrete sleep and 4 children that were not asked to be born in this condition on the sidewalks playing, and on the concrete sleep, they don't have nowhere to live, nowhere to stay, nowhere to eat. That irks me. That makes me feel eerie inside, and that lights a fire under me and it shows me that I have a purpose in this life. For a lot of our celebrities, they worked so hard to get to that point, and they had to shut up a lot of times about so much stuff that they kind of get conditioned to like, I'm good, right? So, I give back. I give back to charity here and there and do this. But when it comes to creating a system to permanently uh make certain problems disappear, they know that the powers that finance them control said systems. So they kind of shy away from that. So I don't fault them for that. But that's just not something I would do if I had 200 million, 300 million, 100 million. So I don't criticize. I may not criticize them. I may hold them accountable. I'm not going to criticize anyone for the period of their life that they're in, because you always can change something. You know, a lot of people, if you analyze their life, weren't always the best. But when you look at the totality of what they became, they may became something very positive. So yeah, for me, if I'm a celebrity and I see a kid with ambition that I know can make money, I may not put them through college. I may put them through, some type of entrepreneurship class, or give them, some type of way to where I know once I give him a loan, the loan won't be to pay for school. The loan will be to get them a business to make money. Because economic freedom and economic liberation is one of the main principles of liberation, because you can be socially integrated, as we can see now, and still impoverished. We can go eat in the same diner as other people. We can go drink in the same diner. We can go club with other people, but we still have 200,000 roughly impoverished people in Atlanta alone, not to mention everywhere else. So that's where I'm at with that whole celebrity deal, that whole people that got money deal that's black. I don't really, my expectation of them is kind of going down, and I feel like the people like me who have say they want to dedicate their life to this work and genuinely and earnestly have a deep passion for the liberation of their people, that's who I hold in my highest regards of to what they should be doing, even if they like myself. And I'm not a millionaire. Like, even if you don't, because the ones before us weren't million and billionaires. But the reason they created mass movements because they realized that they had a struggle to they had a duty to fight and a duty to uh, liberate, and they devoted their life to that. And no one can tell you what to devote your life to. Your life is yours. You only get one of them. Do what you need to do. Do what is on your heart to do.
Right. So say you got $100 million. What would you do to that? What change would you do to the community that help the community evolve from what it is now?
If I had $100 million, first off, instantly tackling the problem of poverty. I'm instantly building affordable housing. I'm instantly building institutions that are going to employ those that live in that apartment, so they're making income because they work for one of my businesses, and also they live in one of my businesses, in one of our business, not even our, because I'm will create a community. That's why when you hear all this popular talk about Black Wall Street this and Black Wall Street this, you know why? We are in America. Black people in America are one of the most wealthiest groups of black people, if not the wealthiest group of black people in the entire diaspora. So that's on every continent, but we still own the same amount of wealth we own in the 1930s and 40s, and when we first got free in this country. And that is because we do not build community and independent institutions. And until the day that we do that, bank, hospital, school, that type of deal permanently and independently, because if it's independent, nobody can take it from you and nobody can shut you down.
Right.
Public, charter, ran by the state. Bank, and I don't care what it is, bank, if somebody else has the final say so of whether you can operate or not, then you will always have the risk of them finding a systemic way and coming up with a systemic way, because this is history. They come up with a systemic way to shut you down, because it's not favorable for us to thrive. and I don't care what no one says. When you look at history, even today in modern times, it is not favorable for us to be equal. It's favorable for us to be second-class citizens. So we can give y'all, we control how much you can thrive in this society. The system, that's what the system says. And anybody intending to break that down or influence, we are going to deem them as foolish to their people. We're going to try to find dirt on them. We are going to try to alienate them from their people, because we have invested so much time in centuries of colonizing and establishing an infrastructure. We will not let one man or one man influence, or one woman influence the masses of people, because it's not one man that controls and that changes. It's the masses of people. It's one man or one woman that sparks the mind of the masses of people and has the potential to organize the masses of people. Because like I said, the government or whoever, president, the politician, whoever, all these systemic structures that are at B, they do not have more power if the masses of people unite consciously and organize consciously and demand equality, respect, and economic liberation.
So when you say poverty, do you feel like the cost of living in the world is too high for the community?
100%.
That's why majority of the people become like homeless, and so do you feel like it's too high for the community?
100%. That's common sense. If you look at just say you work at Wendy's, right, and you get $800 a week, or just say you get $800. Yeah, let's just say you get $800 a week.
Okay.
And at the end of every month, your rent is $1,600, $1,200. Let's just say your car insurance. Let's just say you got a car that is paid for, a used up car. Your car insurance is $300. You gotta eat. That's not to mention. Let's just say that's for a young. Let's say you a young fella, so you don't have children. But imagine if you did have a child, you have to provide for another life. Let's say you got a significant other. That's another life you got to help out. You don't know. That doesn't equal. They don't add up once you get to the end of the month to a sustainable, and to you having a disposable income.
So what you think caused that inflation though in the world? Do you think it was the president, the government, the lack of assistance for the community? Like, what you think sparked the inflation to go up? I know we're in a presidential debate right now, and they going at it to see who's gonna be president. But what you think was the cause of inflation? Cause you know gas prices was dang near $5 a gallon, and so what makes you think inflation? What made inflation go up?
I think it's our fundamental structure. So you always see prices fluctuate. However, you always see people impoverished because we live in capitalism. And capitalism, like I just said before at the beginning of our discussion, is you have to. It is required in capitalism that you exploit the labor of others for your own capital gain, for your own progression, for your own thriving. So you have to exploit the masses of people in capitalism. You can work hard all you want and do all these things. At some point, somebody gonna have to get the bad end of the stick for you to stay where you need to be. And then the bigger you go, the more people gonna get the bad end of the stick. So that is the reason for most problems economically. Inflation, anything. That's the reason for most problems economically, is the fundamental system that we have in place that we so refuse to even consider another one. And anybody who proposes another way of living and another way of getting things done, because clearly the one that we have, the majority of people are feeling the nasty and harsh effects of it. You know, the ones at the top are always thriving. They always can get on their boats and their yachts and private jets and have anything at their fingertips. But I'm talking about the ones like I was just talking about, that family of 5 sleeping on the concrete tonight because times is that hard and they cannot find a way to stay somewhere.
Yeah, I understand where you come from on that. It is different places where you can rank people. You got either high class people like the celebrities, they can afford $1 million cars, and They can go on the airplane right now. They want to. They ain't gotta wait till 2, 3 weeks, a month from now just to save one to go on this one trip. Like the majority of us have to do. They can just, oh, I want to go to Costa Rica. Let me go and book a plane ticket right now. I'll be going by tomorrow. See, with the black community, with not just the black community, with us as a whole, we'll have to plan out 3, 4 weeks from now, a month or two from now for this one trip so we can make sure we got enough money to take care of the trip and take care of what we're going on the trip for. It doesn't matter we're eating, having a good time, or shop. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like there should be more ways in the world to allow funding, even if the government change things, because I know they have educational benefit for the youth to go to school, but you realize college students like us, some of the college students have to live off refunds, and half of the time they can't afford to work a job because they be so tired and they be busy with the classes and everything like that. So I just feel like with the youth and with college students, offer more funding than just refund check. A refund check would come like once a semester or once a year or something like that. And once that refund check out, then college students, they just on their own at that point. So I just feel like more assistance with the students, more assistance with the community, and more assistance with the homeless. It'll make the world way better than what it is now. And moving toward the government, lowering the inflation rate, lowering and stuff like that, allowing more job opportunities for black individuals. It'll help a lot as well, man. Cause right now, you walk outside your door right now, you turn right on your street, you'll see about 30 homeless black people, and you'll probably see a handful of white people in the world homeless. So,
And I think, we have to analyze ourselves socially to understand that, while we are in the predicament we in, it's not all about somebody hating you or hatred.
Mhm.
It's not all about that. That may be an element of a lot of social encounters. You will not ever be able to convince me that is not the reason that police genocide exists of black people. That is not. You will not be able to convince me that race does not play a part on why, if I got pulled over by a police in the middle of the night, I would be trembling at my steering wheel, knowing if I just simply move into my pocket to give them the license and registration that they just asked me for, they could kill me and they will not go to jail for me.
Right.
Race plays a significant part, and race is a constant. Race is a constant in certain social encounters like that. But when coming to economics, race is still a constant. However, it's more about the control, though.
well, so pause you right there. When you say that, do you feel like that's what causing millions of deaths in the world in the law enforcement?
Well, I would say, obviously, police genocide has been a thing for a long time now. So I think we have to reanalyze that and reanalyze some of the legislation that we have in place, and start to put some type of more harsh punishment on officers that do that. And another thing with us, the whole us thing, the black people thing, for me, I'm starting to get less and less concerned with as far as asking the oppressor to help us out. Because why would somebody who is in control, that loves being in control, want to be out of control just by you asking them? That would never happen. I'm more concerned with helping out us in reaching and helping us reach a kind of renaissance or revival or restoration of the spirits of our good brothers and sisters of the 60s, the 30s, the 50s, the 70s, those ones that most of their life was linked with liberation. Most of their life was linked with discussion or thoughts of liberation. So that's why I'm at with that. I think, the violence we perpetuate against ourselves, like I mentioned earlier, is definitely a part of a larger system. If you read, the government has texts that have admitted that they created the ghetto, they perpetuate the ghetto, and they maintain it. So to this day, you cannot just blame a brother or sister for their behavior, You can only try to explain to them why they are displaying said behavior and try to get them into a mindset of consciousness that is directed towards liberation.
Okay. And just think about all the homicide that happened. We're gonna start with the Trayvon Martin case. Then after the Trayvon Martin case, you can go to the George Floyd and
Yeah, you keep ringing them off. Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, Sonia Massey, Mike Brown. You can keep going. And that's the names we do know because the media, the mass media, address those. So it's a lot of names we don't know. Ahmaud Arbery. Like, you can continue to go. Even back in the day, Rodney King, you can continue to go. And this is just the ones that the media shows you. But this happens each and every day. And that's something that I am fearful is not being more of a priority and is getting normalized, especially within us. We talk about things of that matter for 1 or 2 days, and we're gonna comment on it on social media for 1 or 2 days, and then it seems as almost as it disappeared. That life never disappeared. That life taken should never disappear. We should always work toward organize so that an incident does like that never happens again.
So it's crazy because that has been the most skyrocketing topic of all political homicide. You know, we talked about last episode we had with the lady who got shot in the face by the officers. I just feel like they handled that situation wrong, and prior to the previous one they had, I feel like there should be more training implemented when you switch over to the law enforcement, because just because the lady have a pot of hot water and she's saying something about God, that don't mean shoot her in the face 5-6 times because she didn't harm you. What can hot water do to you, but versus a gun can do to her? You feel what I'm saying? So you shot that lady in the face 4 or 5 times compared to her trying to throw hot water out, which you think she wasn't even trying to throw hot water on her. That's just crazy, man. I just feel like the way the police have treat things and black people these days is wrong, man, because they don't do nothing but kill them. Just like if you riding down the street 4 o'clock in the morning, you get pulled over by a white cop. Man, you'll be scared to even, talk to them because you'll be afraid of you getting your life took for no reason. And that's what's wrong with the population and the police officers today, man. It just, y'all is scaring the black community to not even want to talk to nobody. That's why you see on video, you see, I was not gonna say that until I talk to my lawyer or my hand on the steering wheel.
And that's why we have to bring back a revival of conscious decision making and thriving communities. Because if you study history, a lot of our people were having communities that were thriving, and they conducted themselves in ways that did not reinforce the stereotypes of supremacy and a power structure. So they have given us stereotypes that we reinforce, ironically now. Objectification of women, the promiscuous black woman. And now, if you listen to music and you look at media, it has become a norm for women to objectify themselves, because like I said earlier, men start the objectification, and women naturally liking men, the ones that still do like men, because we have other lifestyles of people, which is to each his own. They adhere and they start to imitate the objectification. Men displaying violence. The reason is because it's systemic. Like I said, it always goes back to being systemic. And we are reinforcing a systemic stereotype of the violent, angry black male that is hostile. So now, in a police who's, I will give them that, their job already has them at a heightened state of awareness, because their life is at jeopardy at all times, and even in a minor social encounter. However, with the stereotype that I just described, when I pull over a black guy and I'm a white guy or a black cop, even if I don't know anything about this individual, I'm thinking about what society and how society has painted these types of individuals, which is false. But it doesn't make it any better when we have music and action discussing violence to another because of gang beef, or I don't like you this, or uh, getting caught in between a woman, you know. So, that is the reality of what's going on. And I know for a fact my purpose is to delve into all these broad topics that we were talking about, because like I said, I could almost shed a tear when I see us displaying acts of degeneracy, us impoverished, us unconscious. So I know I would not feel a certain way about it. It wouldn't bother me if it wasn't meant for me to devote my life to. So that's where I am at right now.
Okay, and I want to go back to the poverty thing, because a light bulb just popped on in my head. I'm gonna take it back to the black community. I just feel like even though we're helping the black community, and I say we can bring more finances and ways to fund the community, I just feel like throwing 100K into a black person hand is black. Oh, I got all this money. I'm gonna go. You feel what I'm saying? By the next day, that money will be gone. Besides investing that money in a business right here, or throwing some money in the this, or let's put this money in a stock, watch it grow in the next year or two. You know what I'm saying?
So that's why consciousness has to be first psychological dismissal of all oppressive attributes that you have internalized. That has to be dismissed first before your economic liberation, economic freedom. So you have to psychologically, all those things that you have internalized, materialism being worshipped. So me buying an expensive European clothing brand and boasting it on social media, essentially saying I'm better than another one that looks exactly like me because I have this European brand shirt on, or shoes, or I have money. That's why people glorify money and walk with stacks of it and things like that. It's a symbol of what this oppressive system tells you freedom means, and that freedom does not mean that. Freedom means when a police pulls me over at night, neither of us are scared in this encounter if neither of us are doing anything wrong. And it can be a smooth encounter of yes sir, license registration, you know what you were doing tonight? I ain't know I was speeding, but here go whatever, you gonna give me a ticket or whatever. Once we start having smooth encounters like that, that is the end. That is one of the end goals, and the only way we get that is by a restoration of the psychology of us. Back in 60s, 70s, we had outliers, obviously, but most of us were on a path to receiving consciousness and a conscious level to where we were able to conduct ourselves in a manner that was not self-destructive. And now we are doing the opposite, and it's even heightened because we have more technology at our fingertips, and we can do a lot of nothing all day, every day. You can do a lot of nothing all day, every day, because of the distractions we have at our fingertips. I'm pretty sure everybody watching and me and you can all attest to being on using technology for too much leisure time.
So it'll take an impact on you, man. Being on your phone all day, it can start control you, because every day you think, oh, I got to see what's going on the internet. Let me go on Facebook, see what the argument about, see who fussing on Facebook today. So, yeah, you're right. That could take a big impact on you, man. And I just want to say this. Talk about dating, man. I was looking on social media Wednesday. I want to say Wednesday night, and I seen Tom Brady play in the NFL. Great NFL player, accomplished so much in the NFL, man. Great Hall of Fame. Him and his wife were going through a divorce, and while going through the divorce, his wife tried to take 50% of everything he owned, 75% of everything he owned, but knowing he don't own that stuff, he put all the stuff he owned in his mother's name, so that the wife or whoever he was dating trying to divorce him, she ain't gonna be able to get nothing. So I just feel like seeing that stuff make me scared to date, make me scared to get married, man. Cause in our generation, that's what females want. You know, to take what we work for. So I just feel like dating these days is like messed up, man. Just like dating a brick wall, man. You know.
Well, I would offer a little pushback because, like I said, it's more systemic, and also you have to look at the norms that are created by men that women that want men follow. So if you lead with money, women are going to start to immerse themselves in that norm that you created, that men created. So,
So you think it's
I would think about the marriage thing. We have to just look at it as for what it is. In America, marriage is 100% more economic, and we always want to talk about you can't help who you fall in love with and love this and love that. I want everybody to just maybe just go look up uh any type of divorce court discussion that you can find. You will rarely see love brought up then, because fundamentally that marriage contract, if you have money, or even if you don't have money, when it is over with and you guys do not are not compatible intimately and even platonically anymore, um love is not in the question. So I would say I would offer that advice if you were thinking to get married, when y'all still do love each other, because we want to be together forever in theory, but that may not be the reality. And according to the numbers, that's not a reality for a lot of married couples now, as divorce rates continue to skyrocket. While we still love each other, let's discuss the economics of our situation. So what you got, what I got, what we got, economically. So if it, God forbid, but if it ever comes a time where we are not compatible no more, then we have already discussed and already written down and got legalized our agreement as a couple.
so you think it start with a man first. So you think it has to start with the man first. Because it's plenty of times where a man can be at his lowest and a female can be, stable enough, but she won't date a man who at his lowest. But a man can be stable enough, but he will date a female at their lowest. You see how I'm saying? How that?
I understand that, but this is what I'm saying. That's what I mean by it has to be a restoration of and a effort to preserve masculinity, because as a man, uh, you should want to, have something to aspire to be. Uh, you should want to essentially have your own, not independent, because I feel that uh I would, most men that I know that like women, should be with a woman, and most, like, if you're a straight man, then you're looking for a woman, right? But in that fight or in that journey, I would offer, you to make sure you're right, whatever that look like spiritually, uh, in your everyday life. Just make sure you're right, because if you're right and you choose a bad mate, you'll be able to walk away from that situation knowing you did right by your mate. Most of the time, both parties are in denial about their wrongdoing, and both parties do not like to take accountability. That's why if I was in a relationship and got out of it, and you were to ask me about the relationship, I would not put a lot of blame on the woman. I would lead with what I did wrong, or how I could have done better to make the relationship, say, a relationship work. And so I think that with gender, with the kind of gender wars or gender relations right now, what we are in, I would say it's just we have to have these type of discussions with our partners or significant others. Uh, initially, we usually have these discussions after the fact, when the hatred comes in, and the you dislike that person, or y'all been through some ups and downs, and maybe the downs outweigh the good times, and now you have kind of a motive to attack their character or attack the relationship. Let's do it when y'all both got the Google eyes for each other. That's what I would say.
Okay. Man, so yeah, I wrap about everything, man. We done talked about some powerful things, some interesting things that be going on in the community with my boy Kowacie Reeves, man. Like I said, man, we got a video coming out with a project we just filmed today, so be on the lookout for that. And I want y'all to come support Kowacie Reeves, man. Georgia Tech basketball team, man. They got a season upcoming. He's a exciting player to watch, man. You gonna believe how good this boy is, man. He'll shock you. But yeah, come check him out, man. Georgia Tech 2024-2025 season, man. He's gonna be in full swing, man. Anything you gotta say to the people more?
I would just say it's the power of acting that college change. So we can talk all day long, but let's start to make progress and make way of starting to do the work, because the work uh, has inevitable results that all are linked to liberation. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Like you said, man, let's do more of moving and acting on it besides just talking. Cause we can talk all day, talk, but it's time to make a change in the community, man. So if y'all wanna reach him, I'm gonna put his Instagram on the screen, man. Connect with him, man. Come join the organization, man. You won't believe what impact we've been doing so far, man. It would be more than it's powerful to have 30,000 people than just 2 people in the group, man. We'll touch more people. But yeah, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. It's your boy Zach, man, and Kowacie, man. We'll talk to y'all folks later, man.